Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to show you how a bunch of these Apple cases look on the all-new Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max, this one in Cosmic Orange. So we're going to take a look at, I don't know, like four or five silicone cases and 4 TechWoven cases for you, help you make your purchase decision, hopefully. So, hey, let's get started, and let's start with the silicone cases. And the first one on tap for you here is this terracotta one, and it's kind of like a maybe cross between a saddle brown and a sienna. Of course, that color is mostly going to remind you of other materials, not silicone, but we'll see how it looks. So we checked these out with the dummy iPhones before the real one came out. Of course, this is the real one in my hand, picked up yesterday. You can check out my unboxing video if you want to see more. And I think hopefully that helps some people pick the right case. But in case you wanted to see how it looks like on the real deal, here we are, the terracotta silicone case on the iPhone 17 Pro Max in Cosmic Orange. I'm in front of a window, so natural lighting. Kind of move this around a little bit so you can see how that looks. So obviously not a one-to-one match. The case is a little bit darker, a little bit more brown than the color of the phone. On the front of the case, you can see a little bit of the phone itself, just a really thin sliver of orange aluminum around the front there, around the frame of the phone, and then the case just to the outside of it. And as we've already covered in previous videos, you're not going to have any problems with the buttons. Very clicky. You have a nice lip here for protection. You can put the phone face down here, kind of drop it a little bit hard like I just did, and not going to face any problems, hopefully. A lip here that covers the camera housing as well. You can see that. So, you know, it's adequate protection. It's not the greatest protection out there, but if you don't want a bulky case, which is usually an uglier case as well, these will definitely do. So let's now move on to the orange silicone case, which we have in hand as well. Here's how that case looks. A bright orange. I'd call it a very true orange. Don't think you need any prefixes or descriptors to qualify this orange here. And we'll slap it onto the phone. You get that nice animation. I don't think we got that the first time. And this is how that looks. Not a one-to-one match either, but not so much because of the color, I don't think. It's more like the finish, the material. It's almost impossible to get a one-to-one match because of that. In some lighting, at some angles, it will be a one-to-one match. But if you just want to go full orange this season with your iPhone, this is one of the case options, of course. Actually, the only one from Apple if you want to go full orange. Could also get a clear case. And this is how this looks. Obviously, you got the Apple logo on the back. A little bit faint, but can definitely notice it. Already covered the clickage of the buttons for you and the protection, at least as far as the lip you got in the front and on the back. Some angles may show you here the differences. And on the bottom, of course, you have the cutouts, and it's orange on orange. You see the orange aluminum around the USB-C port. And of course, these openings here for Apple's new lanyard accessory, which close up do seem to be a different sort of material. It's not focusing in very well here, but it looks like it's kind of a hard plastic as opposed to the silicone there. And it's the same thing on the TechWoven cases. Up next, Purple Fog. That is Apple's official name for this purple case, which I would say leans a little bit more indigo than purple, but and it's a little bit on the darker side. So kind of a dark indigo for this one. Got your animation there again. And once again on the front, you can see it's actually a little bit more pronounced with this color contrasting with it. You see a slight little thin sliver of orange on the front. I'm not sure if you can see that. I think you can on the camera. So you can see the color of the phone from the front, technically. Here's how it looks on the back. Really nice contrast there. Place that down. I think I called this the Clemson University combination. I know Clemson's primary color is orange, but I couldn't think of another team off the bat at the moment. So that's why I went with that. Here you see on the bottom a little bit more of that contrast there, the orange aluminum and the purple of the case. Some different angles here. Again, I'm in front of a window. I'd say it's a partly cloudy day, maybe mostly sunny. So really nice combination. I think Purple Fog will have quite a few fans. And last but certainly not least, in my opinion, with the silicone cases, we have the Midnight, which is, for me, like a true navy blue. It may veer on, like, I don't know, slightly grayish as a navy blue. It's definitely not black. So the Midnight, if you're looking for a black case, honestly, from Apple, you don't really have any options. There's a black TechWoven that we're about to check out in a second, but it's not truly black. So this is the Midnight. Beautiful, beautiful option, in my opinion. Well, we heard the sound, didn't see the animation this time. But on the front, you see once again that thin sliver of orange. Your phone color. Looks good. I think it looks nice. And I was mentioning this in probably every case video I did so far, but this design, I'm not crazy about it with the phone just naked, but this is a good design for cases because this opening here, I mean, it just showcases the color so clearly and you get nice contrast and it gives you just a bunch of options for, you know, just trying on different cases and enjoying the different color combinations. So I think this is a great design, again, for having a case on your phone this year. You know, you see how it looks just laying down, some different angles. The Midnight silicone case, again, best I could say is it's a navy blue, a true navy. Of course, true navy blue is a very dark blue. Sometimes you see dark blue referred to as navy when it's maybe too light to really be navy, but that's how that looks. And on to the TechWoven cases. First up with TechWoven, we've got the black, and that is the name of it. There it is. On the back here, you see TechWoven case black. But, I mean, you be the judge. For me, it's not a true black by any means. It's a kind of a dark charcoal gray. And I like it, don't get me wrong. In fact, I probably like this color a little bit more, especially in this type of finish. And you can even see on the aluminum buttons on the sides there, that black is even darker than the case, depending partly on the angle, but pretty much every angle it's darker. So let's throw this on. And this time we got the animation without the sound. So maybe because I didn't have it fully in there, but yeah, it's a little bit hit or miss with the sound and the animation, but it's been like that, I think, since they started doing that a few years ago. So this is the black. I think you get very similar protection as you do with the silicone cases. Of course, the buttons, like I said, clicky and no problems there. It's perfect placement. I think the cutouts are perfect as well. Speaker grill, USB-C port, the cutouts for the lanyard, and there's what I was talking about here. You have kind of a hard plastic, a different material slightly, kind of fitted in there. For the lanyard cutouts, protective lip on the sides. No problem placing your phone face down. And of course, a protective lip for your camera housing. So this is how the black looks. We'll call this the Halloween combo. Once again, of course, Halloween, primary color probably being orange. So this is a little inverted. A few different angles here. And we talked about the material as well, the TechWoven. Feels a little different than the fine woven. Feels a little bit more, maybe slightly more rugged. I don't know how it's going to age, frankly, but feels like there's some coating on it, and it's just, I don't know, it's not as soft even as the fine woven, which I think is a good thing. And then on the edges here on the sides, what you have is kind of a finer weave than you have on the back, so it's not just one smooth material. Hard to catch on camera, but it's especially in black. I should probably show this with another color, and I'll do that. But what you have is just a finer weave of what you have on the back. Probably a mix of a little bit different materials than you have on the back. but it does have some texture is what I'm trying to say on the edges. Up next, this might be the case that I start with this iPhone, just because it gives me kind of an autumn vibe. It might not even be my favorite of the TechWoven cases, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely top 2 or 3. And this is the Sienna. Now, once again, I think I've mentioned that I'm probably going to be slapping a leather case on here eventually, maybe sometime in October when some of my preferred brands come out with theirs. October, November, I don't know when it'll be. Maybe the end of this month, we'll see. But let's check this out. Got the animation without the sound that time. And here is the beautiful Sienna. It's a really nice combination. Sienna and the Cosmic Orange. And I feel like the orange might be distracting with this combo. I don't know why. The orange of the box. So let's just see Sienna on orange with no other shades of orange in the shot. And this is how that looks. A really nice looking case. Very much gives off autumn vibes, like a pumpkin spice vibe maybe. You know, we sometimes assign gender to these colors or color combinations, but honestly, I really think you're going to see guys and ladies with this combination this season. It's a nice one. On the bottom again, you got the little contrast there with the Sienna and the orange. The edges of these TechWoven cases, of course, being slightly darker than the back. And maybe I can show you what I was talking about on the black case. Just got a finer weave here, and it's a textured surface on the sides there. It's not just one smooth surface. So this is how this case looks close up. Nice combo. A winner, in my opinion. Next up, we got the green TechWoven case. And man, this one gained popularity real quick here. I still think most people liked the blue, which we're going to get to last. But if you want a kind of under the radar pick for this one, man, this green, they picked a nice shade of green. It's like an army military green. And I tell you what, it's a beauty. And I'm definitely going to be using this one at some point during this let's say iPhone calendar year. So maybe sometime in the spring, who knows? I kind of associate green with spring. But man, yeah, it's a nice one. I mean, orange typically is, if you have an accessory color to a military green, an army green, to camo, for example, it's often orange. So yeah, they picked a really good color to pair with this Cosmic Orange. And really it goes with the blue as well. That deep blue. If you want to see how that pairing looks, I've got the deep blue dummy phone. You can check that video out on my channel where I put all these cases on all 3 colors of the iPhone dummies for the 17 Pro Max. But this is how this looks. Again, it's a nice combo. It's it's definitely green, and I don't know what other qualifier to use besides it being slightly darker than like a grass green. It's more toward army military, just a little bit. And it pairs really nicely, of course, with this Cosmic Orange iPhone 17 Pro Max. On the bottom there, you get a little bit of that contrast. It's not much, just a cutout mainly around the USB-C port. But you get to see that color through the bottom as well a little bit. The cutouts for the lanyard. You see the Apple logo on all of these is a little bit like it's pressed in, stamped in, and it's slightly darker. Maybe you can't tell on camera, but typically ever so slightly darker than the rest of the back of the case. Set that one down. It's your green TechWoven on the Cosmic Orange 17 Pro Max. And finally, we've got the blue, and that is exactly what Apple calls this color. It's just blue. And it is your TechWoven case in a blue that is darker than just blue. So I'm surprised I didn't give this kind of a prefix or a qualifier, a longer, different name. It's just blue, even though it's a blue that I would say is slightly lighter than the midnight color. Maybe not slightly. It's a little bit lighter. It's darker than royal blue. It's darker than most blues, but it's lighter than the midnight silicone case that we looked at. So let's slap this on. I think we got a bunch of different names for this one. I called it the Denver Broncos combination, and we had people chime in with the Auburn University combo, the Boise State Bronco combo. This is obviously a winner. I think you're not going to find anybody who hates this. I don't know. Maybe you will. But universally speaking, I think a lot of people are really going to like this combination here. Different angles. I mean, just blue and orange. Natural pairing. And I'd say maybe any shade of blue, but especially these darker shades with that very vivid orange. And again, love how you got cutouts on the back here. Really good year for putting a case on your iPhone, showcasing that color, those different combinations. On the bottom, you see the same cutouts we've looked at. Nice contrast. Beautiful case. You see, of course, the thin sort of aluminum frame showing up next to the case. I think we got a good angle for that here. Just a beautiful combination. Guys, slap a like on this video if it helped you at all, and I really hope it did. My own mobile tech coverage, including for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, will continue. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, so you don't miss when any such videos drop. And I will also have purchase links for all of these cases in the description. I want to know what iPhone color and model you got and what case you're rolling with. Hit me up in the comments, and we'll chat there. See you later.